This call is now being
Este
recorded.
es Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Joe Perez.
un preso recluido de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey Joe,
Yeah.
how's it going? How you been?
I've been good, man. I've been good, waiting for the Super Bowl and just chilling, man.
Man, that's right, man. Man, I totally I fumbled the Super Bowl this year. I totally forgot to put my availability as off at work, so I'm gonna be stuck at work while the Super Bowl and the festivities are going on.
Oh man, well don't worry about it. While you were gone over there to Canada, I made arrangements. We got a commercial coming out on Super Bowl. We got it for cheap, you know. So we'll be right there.
Oh man, that's what's up. Hey, highly appreciate it. Oh man, I would tell you shouldn't have, but no, we definitely need that. To get you have a collect call from, get it on the spotlight.
Yeah, get a shout out, huh? Hey, can you imagine if we had that money? I'll straight go to the homeless people and feed everybody. I'll be like, this will be the commercial, you know? I'll put a commercial on YouTube or something. I'll be like, that's it, feeding all the homeless people with all that money they spend on the commercials, you know?
Yeah, no, they definitely do put a lot of money. They have big budgets for those for those commercials, and I think a lot of people that's one of the main attractions. They don't care about football and whatnot, so but they show up for the halftime commercials and then also the performance. Do you know who's going to be performing this year?
Just Usher. That's the only one I know. I mean, I haven't been paying attention, but I know Usher got some more people performing with him. But man, like the Super Bowl commercials. If somebody was smart, like a Wendy's or something, they would have went out real quick and got Taylor Swift to eat a burger or something, because that would have been the commercial of all commercials this year, at least,
Oh yeah. Taylor Swift, she's definitely a hot topic, and that same day that she came up on what was it, the Grammys, or I'm not sure even sure what but I was on
the Grammys.
I was on Reddit and man, I saw like 50 trends of everybody talking about her album. I'm not even into Taylor Swift like that, but she does have a huge following.
Yeah. Well, more than the following, I was telling my wife, because my wife's all backing her up, and I'm like, there's no backing her up. Like, she's the king right now. She beat out Frank Sinatra and who's the old Stevie Wonder, I think, right? She's like Tom Brady right now in her respective career,
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
There's nobody better as far as the ring holders. As far as winning the Super Bowls, she won the most, with yesterday. And that's all you get from us here, guys.
Hey, in other words, if she was in prison, she'll definitely be a hitter.
Yeah, definitely. If she was in prison, she might have been my Sally. We right here at the top, living at the top. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Kind of sucks. So you know what? With the weather, has it been crazy out there? I was watching on the news that California's definitely been getting some major rainfall.
Yeah, it's been crazy, and we don't have the best tablets in the world. So like our calls this weekend and everything, sometimes you just got to put the phone down, because it's too crazy, and you can't get through. Your people sound like robots on the GTL. It's sometimes it gets crazy, and you just got to back up off it because it's too crazy, kicking you out every like 3 seconds, it seems like. So yeah, we get with the weather. We also get delayed sometimes on the tablet.
And with all the issues you guys are having with the tablet, because I'm pretty sure there's people in there that can't handle that type of pressure. As far as their calls, dropping, sounding like a robot. Trying to reach out to their ladies to make sure that they're not out on Friday night. Have you ever seen anybody smash their tablets into a million pieces?
I seen one person smash his tablet and the screen cracked and all that, right? But aside from that one person, I think everyone thinks about the consequence of not having a tablet if you do that, So nobody does that. Normally people just, they're just like, you know what, I tried 10 times. This is not working tonight. I love you. I'll call you tomorrow. You try to send out a text or something and you just turn it off and back to the TV you go, or studying your college materials or whatever you're doing,
Yeah, man. Yeah, I would. Yeah, that's like a crackhead, breaking their pipe. You just don't do that.
Yeah, you don't do that. That's exactly what that is, But some people, they need anger management. They need anger management because if you're breaking your tablet, you really got a problem,
Yeah, man. Yeah. I guess it's a double-edged sword, when it comes to these tablets, because you have your family and friends, at your fingertips, but I'm sure it's like out here, people get addicted to their phones. They're on their phones 24/7. They're walking around on the street, crossing the street, not paying attention to the things that are going on around them. They're just sucked into that world of either phone or tablet or whatever. Because I know you guys got a bunch of apps on there, music, and you could look up case law and look up cases and whatnot. So you definitely could get lost in the tablets.
That's funny you say that because you say the case law and all that, and I call that the rat facts. Because it seems like every case you read on there, they're telling. Like I'm not somebody that reads transcripts like that on the tablet, but I know people that do, and they're like, they come out to day room and they're like, man, I read up on this guy from this neighborhood, and he told on his crime, and then 4 months in the future, he gets busted again for this other crime over here. And I'm like, well, how do you know it's the same guy? And they're like, it's the same hood, the same name. So he didn't even stop. Like, oh my God. And then he goes and does another heinous crime. And it's like, wow, these fools are really addicted to the lifestyle because they're playing they're switch hitters, and they ain't stopping for nothing. And I just laugh, But yeah, you're right. We can look that stuff up in here,
Hey, so that guy that he pretty much had like the ultimate cheat code, He was like, he had that up, down, left, right, BA, select, start, and he wanted to.
He knew how to do it. No, you got it right. The up, down, left, right, start. He got it.
Yeah.
That boy had it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you're like at a running competition and you lose, but then you're like, nah, let's do it all over again. Let's redo. Like let's do it all over again.
Yeah,
I could do better on the next try, but now you can't.
Yeah. Yeah, and the crazy thing is he's out there. I mean, the crimes were like 4 months apart, So and nobody would know that unless you're like a rat facts expert, because you're seeing the names and you're like, hey, I read this somewhere before, and then they go back to the other case, they're like, oh, it is him. I'm like, oh, these fools are crazy. Yeah, but all the cases are up there and everybody looks at them,
Hey, and let me ask you something. When you look up cases, is it just cases where people hit the state, or are these any cases throughout the state of California for any court?
No, I think they're any court, any cases for anything, right? And yeah, now that they gave us the tablets, they're definitely that information is definitely there,
So, cause like for me, let's say for instance, if I want to look up a case, there's a lot of the majority of courts, you can't get that information online, you have to either write the court, or you physically have to go in, to get this information. So for instance, for LA County, if I want to pull up my cases, I would have to go in. Online I could pull up, if I type my name in, my name, it'll pop up the cases, and it'll just give you like the summary of like the court cases, what happened, and the final outcome. It doesn't give you any of the case details. In order for me to get all the details, I would physically have to go to LA Court, Superior Court, and they have these kiosks where you could jump on, and then you could type in your case number, your name, or whatever, and everything will come up. And then I know in some other counties you can't even do. I mean, as far as like being able to look up the cases online, you could look it up, but it doesn't give you any specifics as far as like the penal code or anything like that. So with these tablets here, you could just punch in somebody's name and everything will come up.
Yeah, but it's deeper than that. Say you put Felipe Gonzalez, right? Or Javier Garcia, right? Or some name, any typical name, Mike Smith. You're going to have a lot of names coming up. It's the same thing like Facebook. You type in a name, you're going to have zillions of people pop up because we all share names, right? So then you like type in like the name in the city, or the name in the gang, or the name in this, and you got to explore, and then you start digging and going deeper levels and deeper, and you're like, I got him. He's right here. Let's see what so you got to explore a little bit, but it's like Google for California crime, So all the cases are right there. Everything's right there. If you got the time and patience, and you know a little bit about digging, then you'll get to it eventually, And if trying to find whatever you're trying to find, you'll discover all kinds of other things. It's just like a Google search. You're looking for this. Next thing you know, you're like, man, I found all this other stuff right here. Or a YouTube search, So it takes people get lost in the sauce on that app in here,
So it's safe to say, so as soon as somebody shows up to the yard and they have their name, they look them up, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely assume so. That's criminal thinking 101,
Yeah, I think I would probably be one of those people that would definitely be looking everybody up just to figure out what's what, and because people say one thing, but then it's really something else. A lot of people
well, yeah, that's what I hear in the rap facts. It's like this was like, man, all these fools told, man, if they're somewhere, God bless them, because that's gonna come out sooner or later, And like, they're all like homies. Like everyone's looking up cases. Like they're all looking up homie cases, So, so eventually someone's gonna come over and they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I read your case. It took them a while to find you, huh?"
Man.
Yeah.
Man. So man. Prison is definitely a more interesting place now. With the tablets, because you can't hide anymore. Like whatever, whatever stories people were spinning out there, all they gotta do is
on paper.
And can they also pull up the transcripts, of what was said inside court, the discovery and everything like that?
Yeah, well, when you pull up the cases, like some of these cases, like they don't say nothing at court. Like they're trying to tell them as a stand, take the stand and do this and that, and they're like, no, I refuse. I'm not cooperating, right? But prior to the arrest, they made statements, and they got the person arrested. So you got a lot of cases like that too, where the cops get involved and the lawyers get involved, and they're like, oh, I'm not saying nothing. But it's like, you just said what you said to get that guy arrested, and those don't disappear. They're right there too. So I think you get everything, because that's what it'd be like in some of these things,
So I'm assuming in cases like that, I've never been involved in anything like that, but they might be under
Le
the
queda
influence.
Un restante de 60 segundos.
I'm just throwing hypotheticals out here. Maybe they were under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or something like that, or maybe they were just scared, and then for whatever reason, they decided to throw somebody's name out, and now they're having what is it, buyer's remorse, or they know
good way to put it.
they know exactly
They know
what
what's
they
coming,
did.
yeah.
They know what's coming, so they try to
They know their
backpedal.
credit score. Their credit score is going to get dinged right now,
Yeah.
So they're like, hold up, I didn't make that purchase. That wasn't me.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Yeah. Well, the credit score is going to be damaged. Like it's there already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so I know we're down to about 10 seconds now. If you want to go ahead and return the call, then we could go ahead and continue on this whole Super Bowl weekend festivities and whatnot. All right, so let me see. I gotta readjust this right here. It's kind of off. There we go. All right, so I've been off for the next few. I've been off for the last few days, and I'm gonna be off for the next few days. I've been off for almost a week now. But I've had other things going on, and this upcoming week, starting tomorrow, I'm gonna be working for the next 4 days.
This call is now being recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Joe Perez.
Un preso recluido de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hello?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. All right. So, that's kind of interesting, that the state, is providing this, all this knowledge and all this information. Just, I would understand, a lot of people, looking up like case law or information like that would benefit their case, it would benefit them. But then it's like you're opening up Pandora's box, with all this information.
Yeah, but I get that, and I agree with you too. But it is also like there's rights to inmates representing themselves. So the courts are like, you know what, you're right. They do need this information to represent themselves. Now, they're like, their stance, I would assume, will be like, we're not here to protect you if you did anything where a criminal thinks it's criminal to the criminal aspect. Everything is everything, Now, they're supposed to be their job to protect you if they find out information that your life's in danger, stuff like that. It's supposed to be that's supposed to be their job, So it's like it's like he needs to steal. This criminal needs to steal from the store before we can arrest him, So in saying it like that, it's kind of like true. Like, you can't arrest someone for standing outside your house, but when he does break in your house, then the arrest comes later,
Yeah.
Only this is giving them full exposure to what you got in your house. This is showing them the safe and everything, huh? Yeah.
And what else? What else can you do on those tablets besides, get lost and go down a rabbit hole and
lost in the Besides the rap facts, you could they got cheap video games that look like they're from 1982, right? They look like they might be from the first Atari 2600. They're very limited games. Very they do got a chess game that's a very good one. But aside from that, the other games look very primitive, And then they got a movie app And the movie app is great because it's like $2.99 or something like that, and it got about 200 give or take movies on it. But the bad thing is, like, if you haven't seen some of those movies after having that app, you're gonna run through all of them, and then it kind of stays stuck in that zone for like I don't know. It's been stuck in that zone since they gave it to us, so it's been like what are we 24 right now?
Yeah.
I think I got the tablet in 2021. So the movies haven't changed much, And then the music is probably the best app, and it's probably like $7 a month. And all these are like monthly, 30 days, and the music gives you like updated music. It gives you new music that you can't get. But the problem is, it's like Pandora. You can't search an artist and a song. You gotta pick fans of the Baby, and then you're stuck there, and they play whatever they want to. Fans of Snoop Dogg, fans of Tupac, fans of Taylor Swift, fans of Demi Lovato, DeLupa, stuff like that. So it lets you hear music, but you can't hear what songs you want to hear. But I think that and now we have an educational app, James. We have an educational app that they put on. And when they put it on, it messed up my phone numbers, my ability to call my family. So they put it on like 3 months ago. So I lost contact for like 3 months of family members, right? I couldn't call them for nothing, not even on the wall phone. And some of the numbers, they'll say, you have dialed a number that is no longer in service or has been disconnected. I'm like, this is crazy. But it messed everything up. But they finally fixed everything, and I could call my family again after like 3 months of going through that. So I know that will have to be frustrating for some people too,
I could imagine, yeah. I mean, because a lot of people, they rely on that family support. Being able to, talk to your family members. Because they're obviously they're going to be your biggest support system. So yeah, I could see how that mentally, that could be frustrating. Where you're used to speaking to your family members and communicating with them on a daily basis, and now all of a sudden you're cut off from being able to speak to them.
Yeah, and you know what? Just talking to you right now, hearing you say that made me realize something. I never feel alone no more, James. Like I never feel alone, and in prison at different times, at different journeys, an individual feels so alone in here. Like if you were on the moon or you were in Mars, like you're not even on Earth no more, right? And since they gave these tablets, that feeling, it's not there. That's why when I was buying phones and all that, that was a huge part of the addiction to the phone, because it's like I'm not in jail no more. I am free. Not physically, but I am free. I could get at anybody I want. I get tired of talking to people. I could go watch whatever I want on YouTube. I could go Google, let me hit Google Maps. Let me see what the world's looking like out there. Oh, that's where they live. So it gives you a sense of being connected again. And in that same sense, the tablet without, because the tablet don't got all that, but it still has taken away the feeling of being absolutely alone, And I felt that on more than one occasion, like when I told you when I barely...
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
When I barely came in and I ripped up all my addresses and I'm like, I'm starting a new life. I don't even want to know nobody from the streets. Like those are like desperation moments of complete loneliness, And one thing I'll say is when they introduce these tablets, I don't think too many people feel alone no more. As a mass statement,
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that being the case, and right now, how you said, you feel connected, to your people on the outside, or it's easier for you to reach them. It's it's definitely the same over here too, because I remember when my buddy would go ahead and call me up, and it would be 15-minute calls, but that would be it, because you would have to sign up, before these tablets came in, and then also you would have to pay. You know, at one point, the phone calls, they were pretty outrageous. You know, what they were charging.
Like $15, huh? Like $1 a minute or something, huh?
Man, I know. Well, you know what? I know. At one point in LA County, it was like $0.25 a minute, and it doesn't sound that much, but you know, like in LA County, there is no limit. Like you could be on the phone all day. And
okay.
yeah. So I remember I had
that bill would be high.
I remember I had a homie that was there, and we were talking. I think I had like $20 on there. And next thing you know, we hang up, and I got like $1. I was like, damn, we just burned through. Like I was like, man, I guess you know what? It's a double-edged sword, because you know I'm always saying, man, I wish these 15-minute increment, they would do away with it. But in LA County, yeah, I wish they would have had the 15-minute increment. You know, it would have saved some of that, some of those phone call funds. You know,
money.
Yeah, but.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
So yeah,
you know, James, criminals are so funny. Criminals are so funny because they will figure a way out, right? So, I was in the county jail in 1997, and do you remember GTE phones?
Yeah, I do. GTE ended up becoming Verizon. For those of you that are not aware, just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Oh man, I didn't know that. That's great news, because I love Verizon. Let me tell you, bro. Verizon was my carrier all the time in prison. You know, so we had GTE phones, and when they got the GTE phones, that's how I walk into the county in 20C3 in the old jail, and like, oh man, they're gonna rape you, right? That's GTE phones. Yeah. So, all right. Yeah, I'm taking you back to that experience, right?
Yeah.
So that's GTE phones, and that happened. That was there for like maybe 6 months, right? So 6 months into the future, they rip out the GTE phones, right? And they put this ugly gray box. And I don't know if it's GTL, because it looks like the GTL phones out here right now, right? I don't know if that's when they were changing it, but they put this gray ugly box that we still have to this day. And when they did that, James, everyone was like, man, they took off the GTE phones and this and that, whoa. And some inmate, some criminal, I'm telling you, these criminals are genius when it's about getting over on the system, right? Somehow, some way, in the county jail, they give us these free phones now, and they cut off every 15 minutes. And somebody figured out, oh, no, my bad. They don't cut off 15 minutes. They don't do that yet. So they stay on all day. So somebody figured out by calling their lawyer or the district attorney, like you will get these, because we're in court, we're in jail, so everyone has district attorney numbers. So we will call the district attorney's number and say, hello, I have a case here, and just get to talking to them, right? And then, okay, thank you, you have a great day, bye-bye, and you stay on the phone. Now, you have to let them hang up first, right? And when they hang up first, the dial tone will come back like 15 seconds later. And now all the calls are free. And we would just do that early in the morning, like 8:30 in the morning. Somebody would be on that phone dialing who knows what lawyer and what DA, right? And then it got so big, James, that like 3-4 months into the future, the district attorneys were having outrageous bills, and some of the lawyers too were having outrageous phone bills, right? So they opened up an investigation, like, how's this happening? And then it backtracks to the jail, to the inmates calling them. And you could do it to someone on the streets, but you don't want to do it to your people on the streets, right? So everyone's doing it to the lawyers and the DAs, right? Because they're going to get the bill. And yeah, it went on for like 3 or 4 months strong, every day, all day, using the phone for free. And then they did the investigation and found out. And then they had their tech guys. They had to do a ticket to fix that. Got their tech guys involved, and they fixed that on us, you know? What a trip, though, huh?
Yeah, the biggest thing, right now that you say that, you take me back to 1999, the first time that I ended up, hitting county, and the biggest thing we had was the only thing we could do would be call there was this phone number you would call. I don't remember the number, but you could call, and, this is how you would find out the time. It would allow those type of calls.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
to go through.
Yeah.
And then later on, after they ended up, because before they at 1999 they didn't have any type of prepaid cards. It was all straight up collect calls. And I know years later they ended up coming up with the prepaid cards. And then there was a trick with those prepaid cards that you could so two people would jump on the phone, right next to each other, and they would dial that number. They would dial the whatever number, and then you would punch in your PIN, and then you would punch in the PIN at the same time, the last digit, and both of those calls would connect because technically there was enough funds, for the call to be made. So, man,
one last call, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I was thinking? I was like, what about if you would? Because in county there would be 3 phones, in Wayside there would be 3 phones and 3 phones. So what about if 6 people jumped on and everybody punched in that same code at the same time?
I think it might have worked. Yeah, I think it might have worked, bro.
Yeah,
James, we are like little.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
We are like little lab rats in here, bro. They gave us the tablets, and the tablets come with 2 little speakers that nobody knew how to work. Like, they just didn't work. Next thing you know, everyone's bumping. Like, it's all crazy. These guys are crazy. The tech guys in here were like, how did you do that? That's not supposed to work. Like, bro. Yeah. And then they fixed it, James, so we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And we did it again. So yeah, we're like little lab rats. Somebody, somehow, some way, some little tweaker mind will go, and he won't stop till he figures it out.
Well, I can see that happening because on those tablets, they come with the drivers. They just disabled them. But as long as you re-enable them, it's all there. Now if they would have shipped them out without the drivers, then it would have been impossible. But all that stuff is in there. You just gotta know how to activate it, how to enable it. All right, so he should be calling us back shortly, and we will continue. Let me see here. I'm currently working on my laptop. If it looks like a little bit different, then that's why it is. When I work on my home computer is where I'm able to put up the messages and whatnot, and it looks a lot cleaner. But on the laptop, for whatever reason, I haven't been able to figure out on how to do that. But yeah, so my wife's currently at work, so here we go.
This call is now being recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Joe Perez.
un preso recluido de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
Hey, you know what? And right now, when we had that short pause right now with you reconnecting, I thought about another time. When I was up in county. So up in Wayside, they used to have these vending machines, like in it wasn't located inside the unit. It was located like right outside. I don't remember what they would call it, but it was like that's where they would put us when they would be searching the dorm. So I don't remember if there was like a specific day that you could
like
go,
a
or
corridor, a hallway,
something.
Yeah.
And then so they used to have these vending machines in there. I think it was like 2 or 3 vending machines. I think you get like soda and like honey buns and stuff like that. So it's kind of like the same thing with the calling cards. Somebody figured out if you put like a piece of tape or something sticky on it, and then insert the card, pull it out. You would let it read it, pull it out, and then you could put it on another. Because this is before, like, you got to remember, this is before like dial up, like vending machines having like Wi-Fi, dial up, or internet, or anything like that. So it probably did have some type of phone connection on, obviously, because they had to check, how much were the funds, but it probably didn't check immediately, So they would pull out the card after they would insert it and put it into the next machine, and they would just empty out the card, but then you would get double up. So if your card had 10, then you could pull out $10 worth of, or if you had 10, then you could pull up 10 from each vending machine. You would end up with $20 worth of of items. So I remember that happening. So you're definitely right
Yeah.
about people having a bunch of time in their hands and figuring stuff out and how to get around and maximizing your canteen, if
Yeah.
you will. Yep.
Yeah, your canteen, and even when you're saying this, it even makes me think of some cellmates like in the '90s. They were, those VHS tapes. They would get the credit card, that strip of the credit card, and
Yeah.
put it on the VHS tape and like rub it on there real good. And then when you play the VHS tape, it has all the information on the credit card.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these fools, criminals are crazy, bro. They're like, I've been one all my life, But I'm just saying, like, I'm talking about the humorous sides of things, But yeah, they're if all that energy could be let out in a different aspect, people will really go places,
Man, I can definitely man, I remember like right now they said that about the credit the VCRs reading the magnetic strip off of a credit card.
Yeah.
Man, back in those days, man, I was heavily I wasn't involved in like any credit card stuff. That just wasn't my thing because ultimately I knew it was federal.
Yeah.
It could go federal, and I would be I would be one of those people
Yeah.
I would take it to that next level. I'll be going to state to state to state, nonstop. So I never got involved. I never got involved in that. I wasn't trying to get locked up like in Mississippi or Alabama or Florida or something like that. Like nah, all those stories you hear, definitely not a place you wanna be incarcerated, especially if you're gonna be the only Latino person there. Not gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I was watching. I was
people
watching.
are crazy, bro.
They are. I was watching this National Geographic's. They have this thing called I don't know if it's called like Drugs Inc. or something. It's a catchy title like that. Anyhow, they had this one dude like going from state to state, and then this dude had like he would pick up credit cards from those prepaid credit cards that you would pick off off the shelf that don't have anything loaded onto them.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much blank.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
And then he had an embossing machine where he could emboss like because these credit cards they sell out here in the stores. They don't have like the 3D numbers where you can't feel them. They're just printed on there. But if you get like a cotton swab with like alcohol or nail polish remover, you could remove those numbers. And then he had like this big ass machine where he could punch in the numbers of the credit card of whatever credit card he wanted on there. And then I think he could also put the name and the expiration date. And then he would program it with whatever credit card number he had. And then he would go and buy all kinds of stuff. And then probably reseller, he probably had some people lined up that were gonna buy all this stuff. But pretty ingenious, to me, like that type of stuff. It's always intrigued me.
Stuff,
Yeah.
It's like Leonardo DiCaprio's Catch Me If You Can. You just keep thinking how to perfect. Like I'm already doing this, and they're catching it. How can I perfect it now? How can I get better now? How can I do this now so they don't get it? And ultimately, the goal is financial gain. Like in all these things we're talking about, most of it's financial gain. Aside from the stupid speakers that you just want to hear, but everything else is like money. You
know what? Right now that you mentioned that, Catch Me If You Can, I remember like a few years back in LA County, they were offering $50. No, it wasn't 50. It was $40 gift cards for either Walmart or Target. And I happened to be in my sister's house visiting for the weekend, and she was like, "Hey, my coworker just told me about if you watch this video, you could get you'll get a free $40 gift card." But it ends. She was like, "I think it ends like at midnight or something." So I jumped on. I was checking it out, and sure enough, you had to watch like this 3-minute video, and then you would get a $40 gift card for Walmart and or Target. So I was like, what the hell? And a little light bulb went off. I was like, oh man, I can't believe this. Like why would they be giving away? I was like, it's cool. They want to give away the money. I'll take it. So I stood up all night.
Yeah.
Stood up all night and handled. I ended up with like I don't even want to say how much I ended
Yeah.
up with, but I ended up telling a bunch of people, and man, and they ended up shutting it down. After that, they ended up shutting it down. But man, it was real nice. Watching a video of safety, and then they would give you a gift card. Man, to say the least, it was definitely a good Christmas that Christmas.
All the family, all the Christmas presents, everything was gift cards that year. Huh? I can imagine.
My wife, she got that there's this mixer that she's always been wanting. It was a KitchenAid, but it's like $300. I'm like, I'm not gonna pay $300 for no I think it's called the mixer. Where you could you could mix up like the pancake batter, and you could make your own spaghetti and noodles and
potatoes
whatnot,
or stuff like that.
Yeah. So hey, she got it, so she was happy. So definitely worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely, man. That's good stuff right there.
Yeah. So
That's good stuff.
did you want to get into your journey? Because I know we've been on here for the last 45 minutes or so, and we've just been shooting the shit with different things, and I'm pretty sure some people they wanna listen to your journey or wherever you left off.
Okay.
And to be quite honest with you, I don't even remember if it was if you were like Centinela. Oh, you know what? Hold on. But before that, I wanted to ask you something. And I was about to slip my mind.
Yeah.
So I know in Centinela they have cell phone blockers where it blocks a signal from you being able to make phone calls. Were you ever at any prisons that had that type of technology?
Absolutely, James. This is when I'm a criminal at full speed right here, right? So the GTL. Okay, you guys gonna get in depth knowledge right here because criminals don't even think like this, right? GTL started putting up in like 2012, 2013. They were spending $1 million at every prison. So that's like, at that time, it's like $35 million they're going to waste putting the phone blockers. And here I am, a criminal, and all I could think about is they're trying to take our phones away, And so I'm like, let's find out where these people live at in Los Angeles. Let's find out where their company's at. Like this, we just need to know where they're at, right? So here I go on Google trying to search them, and I'm like, man, where they at? Where they at? Where they at? And it takes me to an army base in Texas, bro. This is the government. This is not even a company. So this is I'm figuring it's the government because they're on an army base, And I'm like, wow, that discourages everything. Because they're out there and they're on an army base. But long story short, they spent $35 million in California. And that's California.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
So they spent all this money to block the phones, the illegal phones, right? And I was sweating it, James. I was nervous. I was like, man, it's all coming to an end. It's good time, And they put the blockers up, and they didn't phase nothing. Them blockers don't work for nothing. That was probably at that moment, because I'm a criminal at that time, I was so happy. I was like, ooh, they just spent 35 big ones, and they didn't get not a result off of this thing. Now, at the time, we had a lot of 2G phones, 3G phones. I don't know if 4G was out yet in like 2010, right? I don't know what the time frame is, but eventually 4G does come out, and we get those. But the phone blockers, they really didn't block nothing out, And if you were in a cell that your phone did not work in, well, you would start letting people use it, like the porter. Hey, go let so-and-so use it. Does it work in there? Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so now I got to go to C section, or I got to go to B section, or I got to go to A section, or that side of the shower, because some little lanes did block out phones. Now, the large majority is still open to the public. The phones still work. So the cell phones didn't stop nothing. The cell phone blockers. And then they came up too at the time. They came up too at the time with Stingrays. I think that's the name of it, Stingray.
Yeah, it is.
And I was at a prison. Where the level ones got caught by the Stingray, and we're like, dang, we lost. Dang, man, we lost. Because that's not theirs. That's ours. But they're just not up there yet. You know, it takes time to travel. But yeah, they busted them, and then we were like, man, they get the stingrays. We're all busted, you know. But that never happened, you know.
And
Yeah,
just
none of that never happened. They yeah.
and just
Yeah.
for clarification, you said that a level 1, lost your stuff. Exactly, for somebody that's never been to prison, exactly what does that mean? Because obviously you were in a level 4, and then a level 1, and you guys don't
Yeah.
mingle. So why would you think that a phone on level 1 was lost? That technically, or in your mind, it belonged to you guys on the level 4s.
Well, this is the thing, James. It's like the alphabet, right? So you got to go through the letter A. You get to the letter B. And down there by P, it finally, that's when it reaches your hands, you know? So when you think about the sneakiness, or like, okay, one thing is when the guard is bringing you the phones, that's one thing. He's getting his issue. Like, guards do different things at different times, right? So one guard might only be comfortable with bringing in one phone. Now, he wants 500. So he's only bringing in one phone. So to prevent him from getting busted, the concept goes like this. Buy the exact phone you have, put your SIM card in there, and then bring it to work. And hide the SIM card, the new one. And when you go to the restroom or something, just take your SIM card out and give me the phone and give me the SIM card, right? That's one aspect. That's like a $500 shot right there, right? That's one phone. Some cops are more they're more gung-ho with it. So they're like, I'm not going to risk this for $500. But the cop that does that says, I'm not going to get busted, so I'll do it slow and steady. The other cop's like, man, I want a payday. I want 2,000 big ones. Okay, so he'll bring in like whatever he brings in, you know, whatever item you told him to get, and it's just stuffed with phones that you people sent him or whatever, right? And some are more brazen, or they're like, hey, I want.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
I don't want 2,000. I want 10. So there's methods for that too, right? But what I'm saying is when you have no cop, no officer is bringing in nothing, and no free staff is bringing in nothing, and there's no way to get something in, like phones, for example, the brain starts clicking, James, and fools will figure out from point A to point P, how do I get this in, you know? And it's a bunch of roads and time, because it doesn't happen at a snap of a finger, you know? You might start this project today, and it might not be in effect till a month and a week later, you know. So that's how things work, and most people don't even know how things work in prison like that. Most people have no idea.
Call me back. All right, so time was running short, so he'll go ahead and give us a call back, and we'll go ahead and continue. And I want to go ahead and appreciate, and shout out and tell you all you guys, that are in here listening, really appreciate it. And let me go down the list and check, who we have in here right now. So first off, we have LBCK15. Also, we got Aquatic Amigo. We got Biddy K coming in from the UK. And we also have Amy, Angel from the 805. And yeah, and that's it. But, definitely.
This call is now being recorded.
Esta es Global Tellink. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Joe Perez.
un preso recluido de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tellink.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. Hey James, do you get what I say? I'm just trying because I'm trying not to say nothing, but I'm trying to say everything at the same time. Do you get what I say when it's like you start at A and you end up at O?
Yeah,
Do you kind of get that?
yeah.
You think the
I do.
audience would get that? Yeah, huh?
I hope so. I mean,
Okay, and
a lot of us watch,
yeah,
like like National Geographics,
different things.
MSNBC, Lockup,
Yeah,
Lockdown, and things of that nature. So I think
yeah,
we all we
they're
all should have
familiar.
a imagination of exactly what kind of picture or ghetto Picasso you're trying to paint for us.
Yeah, and you know what? The imagination it probably takes to come up with a scheme like that. It's because it's not just one route. It's just not one road. There's like a bunch of different roads. I'm just not saying, but and to stress something, the majority of inmates in California prison system have no idea this world even exists. Like they're just dumb in prison and they just end up buying a phone. They're like, oh, how cool, but nobody would ever think like how it actually came in if you don't have an officer, you know? Yeah.
And you know what? Right now, before you continue, I wanna
Yeah.
let who's in here, who's actually listening to the conversation right now. Because
Yeah.
I definitely overlooked that when we started. So we have first up we got LBCK 15. He's coming in from
Okay.
Wisconsin, but he's originally from Long
Okay.
Beach. We also got Aquatic Amigo.
Yeah.
He's working and he's listening. And then who else do we have?
Okay.
We got Biddy K from the UK tuning in. She's in a different time zone, but she's always in here. And then
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
earlier on,
That's cool.
I guess we were talking about something funny, and LBCK 15 put laughing my ass off. That's funny. I think it was like within like our first or second calls, and then we also got Amy.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, me neither. And
Yeah,
then
yeah. All I remember was we started off with Taylor Swift or something, you know. But that's it. Because to the audience, before we even jumped on this call, you know, I touched up with James on a sidebar, you know, and he was in Vancouver, so I was like, hey, fool. Brothel House in Vegas, your city's going up. They're gonna host the championship. You could go do you know all this and that. They're offering Mary Taylor and Kelsey. You know everything's going. Vegas is going up with a Taylor Swift theme this year for the Super Bowl. And I was just sharing that with him, and I think that's how we started the conversation or something like that. You know?
Yeah, definitely. And then we also got Amy. She writes, "Hi, Big Joe. Good to hear from you."
Yeah,
And
likewise. Thank you.
and then we also got Angel from the 805. He writes, "What's what's up, lady and gents? All right." And then let me see. And then we also got a new viewer, or at least somebody a new participant in the chat, and he goes by Goombastic 562, and he says, "This is a great channel, brother. Keep it going."
Oh man, and Bombastic got a name on him, huh? He's Sancho King right there with a name like this. Okay, thank you everybody for tuning in. And now that I know that, now we're gonna get into some stuff right now. Now we're gonna remember I told you about the avenues, and you were trying to say about level ones. I always call these guys the FBI's of prison, right? But I heard you say the name IGIs, you know. Well, in Calipat, and people could Google this. This is like I tell you guys, the prison, it flows. The river's strong, you know. So the river's so strong, cops kind of like, if they don't know the lifestyle, they kind of like start loving the lifestyle, right? And sometimes it takes them down the river too, right? If not physically, if not through action, for sure mentally and emotionally, right? But this is a physical one. In Calipat State Prison, there was like the main IGI, like the you know, they're all top dogs, but this is like the top dog of the top dogs in IGI. And he got busted, and they used to run his picture on the news when we were right there for bringing in cell phones, you know. big issues, doing it big. He only knows how to do it one way, you know. And he eventually he gets arrested, and people can Google that to this day. I'm sure that's public news, and it was a big thing at the time. And also, right before I landed at Calapan State Prison, it was off the hook, and the feds, the real FBI, like I'm talking about, like the real deal, not prison no more, like the real FBI raided Calipatria State Prison, and not even for the inmates. You know, you think of them raiding, you think of them like, oh, let's go get the bad guys. Well, to them, like the COs were the bad guys. So that's when that guy gets busted, and you know, other people got arrested, and they were patting them down, and they were like, get on the wall. And it's hard, like, if you imagine you're working for a correctional institution and someone tells you get on the wall, and they're like, what? I'm a correctional officer. Who are you talking to? Get on the fucking wall. You ain't today, you know. And they'll pat them down, and they were doing this in front of the inmates. So it was like no privacy, no nothing, no like, well, you ain't nobody today. Get on that wall. And they were searching, and it was crazy. But I'm sure you could Google all that stuff and get all that information. And here's another thing that I've been wanting to talk about, but I haven't. Correctional officers, right? These people are normal people at the beginning of their careers, right? They're normal people. They're just like any viewer listening in right now, and any of your family members. So when we come in from the streets, when I come in 1998 in Tehachapi, like, I'm young, I'm wild, I'm ruthless. I'm like, I don't give a F about nothing, nobody. Like, I'm hurt. I don't even want to admit I'm hurt. I don't even know I'm hurt. I'm just like, I'm gelling at the highest degree. And these normal people, they have to get introduced to someone like that. And that must be hard on them, because cops and sheriffs and CIA, FBI, ATF, they're chasing us. That's their job. So they're accustomed to our behavior. They're accustomed to the measures we will take, even not to get arrested. They are familiar with everything that could go wrong today, right? Whereas a correctional officer, I'm sure they train them, but there's nothing like real life experience, you know? And these people of law enforcement, they have life experience with us day in and day out. Like, they know what it is. So when we go to juvenile hall, the juvenile hall, they have more experience because we're coming in so wild that they know what it is. In the county jail, those are cops watching us. Those are sheriffs. Those are they're jail. They're people of law enforcement that watch us. So when I'm talking about how wild it is in the county, when they do stumble on an incident, they're used to that. But when we come to prison, these correctional officers, only the veterans are used to it, but the new ones, you know, I feel for them looking back at life because they're not used to what we're bringing to the table. And they're probably coming in, just like I told you the story about those two rookies in Salinas Valley that got stabbed up, you know. They're just coming in. They're just poor innocent people doing a job, and then they're introduced immediately to this violence, this violent culture. And I'm not saying, I want to separate something here. I'm not saying all correctional officers. If you're on a level 1, 2, 3, like, you're excluded from this conversation. Like, you do got an easy job, you know. But if you're a new correctional officer and you landed on a 180, like, I feel for those correctional officers looking back at life, because that's where prison is prison, and that's where they see it. And I believe James, when you were in Vancouver, they had a riot with the COs in one of these prisons, right? Inmates against officers. And, you know, it's not a high level, so I know that the injuries were not severe. That was like, you know, it was like kind of playground, so to speak. But when you're at a 180 and something like that happens, it's dangerous. And I never talked about how I look at COs now, and I feel for them, because again, they were not part of the cops or the sheriffs. They applied for a job, they got it. Next thing you know, they don't know if they're going to be on a level 1, level 2, level 4. They don't know that. But the ones that end up landing on 180, I feel for them because they're just everyday shoppers out there. They have kids, they have families, and then they get introduced to this, and they're probably like, "What the heck is going on here?" You know, like this is not it's not the business, you know. And for someone young who just got a life sentence and is coming in, and half the yard just got is barely in its 4-year prison. They're all rookies. They're wild. They're wild little stallions, and they have no self-help. They have nothing. They're mad at the world. They're mad at the people that told on them. They're just little scorpions waiting to sting everything, you know. So I did want to touch up on that. And if there's anything that you're thinking about, James, or anything about the COs that you would want to ask,
absolutely,
feel free to chime in.
You know, I thank you. Yeah, actually, there was something that did come into mind. So it's from what I hear, you know, because obviously I've never been to prison. Luckily and fortunately, I straightened out before then. But is it safe to say that you know these the correction officers in some way, shape, way, or form that they favorite sides, obviously, you know, like let's say there's a correction officer and he's working on the GP side, and then for whatever reason they end up flipping the yard, or they end up moving them to a different prison where they got SNY. He doesn't want to work with the population that's considered SNY or 50/50 or non-designated or whatever name they're currently using, right? Because they believe in the GP, right? Like the views and the way they operate, right?
Okay. Remember I told you when I left, the sergeant was like, "You don't want to go over there," and he was trying to keep me, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he was in my mind, he was like, in his perspective, he was looking out. He was like, "You're not gonna like it, bro. Like, you've been over here all this time. Don't throw your prison career away," right? Basically, that's the moral of the story. So in some ways, he had to be influenced, right, to even be suggesting such a thing, right? Now, when I hear you ask that question, I think about certain COs. Like certain COs, they the river is so strong, and we talk like you know, F them fools, or F them, you know. Well, I'm not gonna say fools. I'm gonna say that what we say. We'll be like, F them pesetas, you know, like da 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 da, and the COs hear it over and over. So we demonize. Remember, I told you, like, if you got the girl's number, hey, try to pull her, try to get her. Like, so anybody you know about that guy that left, you'll demonize him. You'll try to make him like everything he had done good in his past is non-existent, like tearing the statues down with Saddam, like all that, erase him from the history books. So these cops, no one's talking to them, but they can hear an inmate talk to an inmate when they're passing by or something. They're here with us every day, so they're getting bits and pieces. So they're forming an opinion too. So some cops, and I've seen this with my own eyes, my own ears. Some cops have been with me, and they'll be like, "I ain't never going." You know, this cop used to talk like this. If he ever hears this thing, he's gonna know exactly who.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
I'm gonna call you right back, bro. I'm gonna call you right back.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I really appreciate you know, everybody that's listening, and for Joel, you know, taking time out of his day to, you know, to share his experience through the, you know, through the juvenile hall system in Riverside County, through the old Riverside County Jail, and ultimately in the California Department of Corrections. This was before they added the R. So he should be calling us back in the next few moments or so. And once he does, he'll go ahead and continue with his journey. And there he is.
This call is now being recorded.
Esta es Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Joe Perez.
un preso recluido de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Okay, James.
Yeah.
Okay, so this cop, he used to say, "I'll never go to a PC yard. I'll never work for these motherfuckers." And he'll talk like that, right? He's a little fat, short white cop, right? And he'll get done with his speech, and we were reporters at the time. And we'll be like, "That's right," and we'll say his name. We'll be like, "Yeah, fool, don't ever go." He'll be like, I'm not gonna go over there, bro. Like, da. And we'll be like, "Yeah, F those fools." And he'll be like, yeah. So, long story short, I leave right there, and like a year or 2 years later, I see him again. And when I see him, I'm like, "What's up?" You know, I call him his name. I used to know him. I used to be his porter. He was my boss, you know? I'm like, "What's up?" You know? And he's like, "Hey, what's up, man? Let me tell you, you made the right choice. Everything's going to shit over there, and just what you gotta do to go home. Like, I applaud you." And I was like, and I didn't know if he was being sincere, because I remember the old him. So I thought, oh, this was just talking a good one, like on friendly terms, you know? But he definitely was washed in the river, right? And the river's strong, bro. But I want to say something else. The river got muddied. Like, it got muddied in recent years, you know? And when he's talking like, "Oh, it went to shit," right? He's probably talking about that, because there's a lot of cops on this side that have worked over there, and they all kind of say the same thing. They all kind of say like, "Man, I remember when you guys were a force. I remember when you guys were this, you guys were that." And they don't talk about that stuff like that no more, you know? So, you know, personally, my opinion changed. And I'm not talking about like self-help. I'm talking about as a criminal. Like, my criminal opinion has changed, right? My old criminal, the way I've seen things, that has changed. And a lot of other people's opinion has changed too.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
And from what I could hear from these cops, a lot of their opinions have changed too, because again, people live every day. They come to work every day, and they see things every day, and they see how things have changed in recent years, you know? So, yeah, I hope I answered that question. I don't know if I did a good job answering it, but some people are biased, James, because when we had COVID, you know, the same yard I left, they sent me back to it on the COVID thing, right? So here I am going back to the same place I left from, that sergeant that was trying to keep me and all that. So I go there, and when I go there, I know all the officers that used to be there, right? So then there's a girl officer, and she sees me, but she don't know I left, you know? So she sees me, and she looks at me like with this ugly look, and I'm like, "What the hell?" And I didn't expect it. Like, I'm like deep in my recovery now. Like, I no longer believe a lot of the same things and all that, right? But she sees me, and she gives me this look. And I look at myself, and I'm like, "You see that?" And he's like, "Man, forget her, da-da-da." And I'm like, I'm just tripping. And then she comes back the next day, and she's like, "Hey, will you be my porter right here? Will you do this and that?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she was cool all over again. But I think she seen me, and I think she did that face not because I'm over here now. I think she probably thought like, "Oh, I can't believe you're a child molester," or something like that. I think those were her thoughts, you know? But if you look me up on file, you'll see none of that's the case, right? But I don't think because she was younger still too, so I don't think she realizes like everyone's over here, you know? Like, when I look around, I still see tattoos on faces, I still see tattoos on necks, I still see tattoos on heads, I still see all the gang members that were over there. I see them all over here now. So the imagery is it's not like it used to be. Like when I tell you in '97 when I came in, it was 5%. Like that 5% looked a certain way. They didn't look like us. So now in today's day and age, you know, you you come over here and you might think you're expecting to see otherwise, but you're gonna see all the homies. That's what you're gonna see over here now. You know. So yeah, some cops are definitely biased, and and it's funny because in years they'll switch those cops and they'll have to work over here, and then they're cool over here too. And it's the same, and it's like, what's up, fool? I thought you were, and they're like, oh man, you know that, and it's just the same thing. Like no matter where they're at, because over here, just like they were biased over there, over here they talk, and they're biased towards them over there. And they're telling us like, man, you guys did the right thing, and then fools are still mess ups. They don't know, they don't get that, you know. And then they're saying other things that I don't want to say, right? But I'm just saying the bias isn't really over here or over there. I think it's more along the lines of wherever the cop works at, you know, because he just has to work there, and he probably I don't know, maybe he's influenced by wherever he lands in a certain time, you know. Because I'll tell you, there's no cops that treat us rude over here, and there's nothing like that going on.
That's definitely interesting. And I have another question that I just thought about right now while you were talking about that. Has there ever been a point where you saw like a brand new officer or relatively new, and you know they were green behind the ears and they didn't know what time it was, and then as time progressed, you seen them morph into like this, like pretty much like looking like an inmate, whether they got all tatted down, sleeved up, shaved their head, just a transformation happen in front of your eyes?
Yeah, and that happens too, and that's what I'm saying. The river's so strong, it takes you in multiple different avenues, and what you're speaking of is one avenue, right? Where they come in and they have no tattoos, and then they pull you like, okay, there's different officers. Now that I'm answering the question, I'm thinking of different officers at different prisons. There was one officer when I was in New Delano, and I had my cellie was the best hand on the yard right there. And what the best hand on the yard means is like he's the sickest tattooer right there. And you would think being in prison, tattoo work is good, right? But that isn't the case. Most people don't have good tattoo work in prison. You're tattooing because you're bored. There's nothing else to do. Everyone in prison can tattoo. I've tattooed on cellies before. I've done backs. I've done feet. I've done arms. I've never done a face. But okay, so what I'm saying is people tattoo in here, right? But there's only a few tattooers, like artists that really get off. So I'm living with one at this time. He's the best hand on the yard. Everyone knows it. Every day this fool will kick my bunk in the morning and be like, come on, fool, because right there I have zero ink on me, complete zero. And that's hard to find. So he wanted that so he could tattoo on me so it could all be his work, and he would be like, this is what I do to a body. I'm not giving you a good tattoo next to a bad tattoo. Like, it's all going to be me, right? But anyways, long story short, the cops would open our door. Like at 8:30 in the morning, they'll open the cell door, and in the morning when we're doing trays.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
We'll go tell him like, hey, fool, can you pop 201 open? We're going to get him in here today. He'll be like, yeah, this is like long-going things right here, right? So he'll be like, yeah. We'll go back to the cell, 8:30, the homie will come down, and we'll roll up the mat. Like, the mat will be rolled up so he can sit on it, or he can lay on it, or however, whatever he's getting tattooed on, right? And my cellie will be tattooing on him, and I'll be just chilling, making us coffee. I'll just be talking, clowning, and then he'll be in there till like 11 o'clock, 11:15, whatever, right before 12 o'clock. And the cop will open the door again, or we'll flag him when we're ready, and he'll open the door. He'll put him back in the cell. And this is routine right there. Like, this is the whole time right there. The cop not that cop, another cop, he will come through sometimes, and he'll be like, dang, let me see. And he would always want to see the new tattoos, right? And we'll be like, hey, pop so-and-so out. Come here, fool. Oh, look, pop this fool out. This is what we did last week, because that cop would come every so often. He wasn't always there. And he'll be like, dang, man, I want to get tatted up by you, man. You guys got the sickest tattoo works. I tell all my people on the streets, like, man, these fools' tattoos sick in here. And he will be on that trip. Well, that guy did start getting tattoos, you know? And at that time, all my mind could think, James, was like, because we used to tell him, I used to tell my celly, like, you're going to tattoo on him, fool. You're going to tattoo on this fool. And I used to tell him, and he'll be like, man, my partners have to be down with it. And I'll be like, fool, get 3 guys that you guys could work together, and we could do you in the mini yard, you know, tattoo you out there. And we never did it, but that was the plan, at least, you know. But that guy started getting tattoos out there on his own. So I seen him transform and get tattoos. And not only was he transformed before my eyes, he was actually verbalizing it to us. He would see the tattoos and be like, dang, that's dope, bro. So he was jockeying and he was getting tattoos later, you know? Yeah.
And what about when it comes to to the verbiage, you know, like saying like firme, homito, you know, peseta, you know, things like that.
Okay, I got you. When I came to prison, like I'm Mexican, right? But I don't use none of those words. And, you know, some people do. Some people do use them. And I never liked, at least in California, I never liked Mexican rap because they used to use those words, like stuff like that. And I'll be like, these fools are clowns. Like, we don't talk like that in the streets. These fools are talking like it's 1982. And I just thought they were clowns for speaking like that, and I never liked it. But one dude I loved his music was SPM. SPM, I loved his music, man. And he's from Texas, but I loved his music. He did good. And another artist I like that was Johnny Boy. And but they don't use that verbiage in their music, you know. But back to prison, I could say that the little of that was in here when I came in, because it was, but I didn't speak like that. I was like, why, you know what I mean? We don't talk like that, you know. But what I will say is that in from '97 when I came in till now, homies talk. There's no other way to say this. Homies talk black now, like a lot of them. Like again, I just been normal for the most part, but a lot of homies, you know, and it's funny because we used to make fun of those homies in '97. Like if you were from Watts, if you were a Watts baby and you were talking like you were talking, and we'll be like, hey fool, don't be saying that. That's disrespectful. Like you better shut up. And they'll be like, fool, they gotta understand, I'm for what? And they'll go crazy, and we'll be like, you better tone that down. I don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it, and I know they don't want to hear it, right? So that's changed in here, James. Like most of the homies talk black, and no one's taking offense to it. The culture just it went there, you know.
Man, hey, you know what? Right now, you just I think you hit 3 sensitive topics right now. You hit the Chicano rap.
Yeah.
That you don't like it. SPM, he's definitely a hot topic right now, very controversial right now, where people have even got hurt, you know, just for listening to his music. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
No, I didn't. In California?
Yeah.
For listening to it in California?
Yeah.
In California prisons?
No. On the street.
Bought the band. Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
On the streets.
Homie, I will bump SPM like it's no thing. They wanna go to bloody war. Tell me if you want to take me to war. Yeah, SP definitely shot that album. Never Changed. I don't know about everything, but Never Changed, Devil Strikes, and I could see that. I could see someone pushing that line, you know.
No, but
I'll still bump them.
But
all day, every day.
I'm gonna tell you why. So you know SPM's in prison, right?
Yeah, I heard he was in prison for like child molestation or something like that.
Yeah,
At least that's what I heard. I don't know.
Yeah,
Is that true?
Well,
Okay.
he got convicted. I mean, people have shown the paperwork, and it shows
Yeah.
that is true. And there's a bunch of stuff, but I don't know. I'm not from Texas, and I don't work for the court system or anything like
Yeah.
that. But if you want to go ahead and call me back, we could go ahead and touch on the subject a little bit.
Oh.
All right. So like I said, he just brought up 3 topics that are seem to be hot right now. I was over here when at first he hit the Chicano rap, then he hit the SPM, and then the last one was the homies talking like if they're black. And let's go ahead and we'll get into it once he calls back, and there it is.
This call is now being recorded.
Este es Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Joe Perez.
un preso recluido de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello?
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to dive up in this, James. Okay, look it. I kind of know where it's going, right?
Yeah.
And I love that Never Change album by SPM and The Devil Strikes. And some people might be like, oh, da 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 da, and I'll be like, well, if you're gonna say that, I love R. Kelly's music too. And then they're gonna say da 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 da, and I'm gonna say, well, you guys don't say shit about Michael Jackson, And if we're going there, then Tupac might get dragged into this too. And I love Tupac, and I always loved Tupac's music, and I loved him as a person. This guy introduced me to God, not personally, but through his music. He made me aware of God because I didn't grow up like that, right? So I've never been a follower, James. I've always been a leader. I've always done what I want, where I want, how I want. That kind of thinking obviously brought me to prison at a young age. But what I'm trying to say is I'm not influenced by other people, and I know that's a rarity. That's a rarity right there. Like I'm not saying I bump them, I support those crimes. Hell no, that's far from what I'm saying. I don't support those crimes. I don't like them. I think they're disgusting. But if somebody put out a hot record and I like it, I'm always gonna like that music. It's like if 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying, I love that album. I know it's old, people don't bump it no more. Let me bring someone else up. Let me bring Travis Scott. His 2019 I think it's called Birds in the Trap, the CD. But he got so many heater songs on there. If he would go out tomorrow and do something crazy, it don't mean I would not love that music he made. Now, after knowing, I kind of think you probably would. It would bias. My opinion will be biased to future music he made. Yeah, but that's a whole different topic. What I'm saying is that I would still bump Travis Scott's old stuff, and that's it. I just dived in and dived out,
Yeah. Nah, but
yeah.
Like how you brought up the Chicano rap. A lot of people tend not to. It's not their flavor of music, and and I would fall into the category.
Yeah.
It's never been. I like dudes like Psycho Realm. They
okay. They're different.
They're different. Yeah. So or
they're different. They're off that Cypress Hill branch.
Yeah. And then also like Little Rob, like his older, like a summer. I think what was it, summer music or something like that.
I can't do.
Like
I can't do Little Rob. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry, Little Rob. I applaud you for getting money. I do, but I just can't do his music. But out of San Diego, there is one guy I liked, and that is Little One or Mr. Little One. Oh no, I always liked that fool. I was like, man, that fool should have blown up. Had wrong partnerships or something, because he was definitely talented, but he don't really use that verbiage either,
Yeah, Yeah, and and then
Yeah.
you also, you hit the SPM thing, and I mentioned
Yeah.
earlier on somebody had got hurt. There's this. I'm not exactly sure, what to refer to her as, but there's. I'm not sure she's considered an
Yeah.
influencer or social media personality, but she goes by the name of
Fill me in. I want
Jenny.
the chisme. I want the chisme.
Jenny.
Jenny Rivera?
No, Jenny
Rivera the
69.
second?
No, Jenny 69.
Oh, Jenny 6.
Yeah. So
Oh, interesting name.
so she
Okay.
like some years back she got a 6'9" tatted on her forehead or top of her eyebrow or something,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
not sure if she was like paying homage to like 6ix9ine, the rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine. But
Yeah.
anyhow, no, so she's been, doing stuff online. I'm not exactly sure what she's doing, but I know like maybe
Yeah.
like a month or two ago, she was listening to SPM on one of her live streams, and she
Yeah.
caught some backlash, from people from the streets in LA, and she set up
Yeah.
a video shoot with a remix of a song, and she ends up going to this and I mean, I don't know any of this. I haven't seen any of the footage or anything. This
Yeah.
is just, from what I've seen,
Yeah.
people, talking about it online.
Rumor
Yeah.
rumor control.
So I don't
Internet
know.
rumor control.
I
Okay.
don't know if any of this stuff is true. Just in case the authorities are listening, I'm not privy to any of those facts. And she ended up getting
Yeah.
jumped. She got jumped, and then and they say that it was, over the whole SPM thing, her bumping SPM. Like I said, I mean, I'm not sure if it's true or not. This is
Yeah.
just, talk around
Yeah.
the water cooler, or YouTube or Instagram or IG or TikTok, or wherever this stuff is blowing up. And
Yeah.
so she ended up getting hurt, and then she was saying that she was gonna call the cops, and like, once again, I haven't seen her say any of this stuff. This is just what people are saying online. So
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
take my word for it, because I'm not. I wouldn't consider
They're
myself.
trying to cancel Jenny 6'9", huh?
Yeah. In other words, yeah. So
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
and it was over
Yeah.
that whole SPM thing where, that, for the charges he has, and
Yeah.
so a lot of people, there's team SPM and team no SPM, they and then there's another thing too,
Yeah.
with the whole California Texas, rivalry.
Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Texas
Yeah.
versus California.
Cali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Well,
and then- go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say I was in Calipat State Prison. I had a Super 3. Those are like the biggest radios you could get in prison, right? Now I'm bumping SPM, and my neighbors are black. One's from Long Beach and one's from Texas, right?
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I didn't know this fool was from Texas, right? So I know Bird from Long Beach is my neighbor, and he starts banging on the wall, and I'm like, "What's up, fool?" And he like, "Man," and he goes on one about SPN, and I'm like, "You know who that is?" And he's like, "Man," and then it comes out he's from Texas, and this is a black guy, and he's like, "Man, SPM like Tupac in Texas," and I'm like, "For real?" And he's like, "Yeah, fool, for real." He goes, "I didn't even know you guys bump him out here," and I was like, "Yeah, well, I do, And for the most part, all the homies in prison bump SPM. Now they might, like you're telling me, they're boycotting him or they're doing this or that, right? So that might have been influenced in here too, So maybe they don't bump him no more. But as of 2020 and 19, 18, 17, all the way down to 2001 when this fool comes out, or in the 90s whenever he came out, all the homies have always bumped SPM in here. And another thing, all the homies, probably 1 out of 10 homies in the California prison system, or maybe let's just give it more, 1 out of every 15 inmates in the California prison system has a 6'9" tatted on them. And it ain't for Tekashi, but those 6'9" tattoos were famous. That's all. That's my take. That's my hot take on it.
Now you're definitely right about, SPM, being hot in the early in the early 2000s out here in California.
Yeah.
Oh there's like I said, there's a big huge controversy right now. And then also the other one would be well, I don't think it's as big as the other two, but the homies, talking using certain words that they weren't using.
Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Because before you would only get them Watts, South Central, maybe Compton babies, but and that was the geographics of in the 90s. But like all SGV didn't talk like that. All West Los didn't talk like that. Harbor area didn't talk like that. IE, San Fernando, Orange County, San Diego. Nobody really spoke like that, And now they do. Everybody.
And I do recall, bumping into people, up in county, and you knew exactly where they were from. They were either from like the Watts area, Compton, or those areas. And people would make comments behind their back or whatever, but they wouldn't tell them to their face.
Yeah.
Or at least I didn't see. But yeah, it was. I mean, and I understand. Like if you're neighbors and you grew up, then yeah, you're gonna pick some of it up. So.
Yeah.
It's just all it's all based on geographic, geographical locations and whatnot. So some people, get on, their head or their bumper or whatever, and they make comments. But it's like, man, you would be talking the same way if you lived in that area too, because you wouldn't have a choice. You wouldn't know. Anything else but that.
Yeah, that's how you grew up. Yeah, and I think it's more normalized in California now, and when it wasn't. Like in the early 2000s when I'm at Tehachapi and you'll get a baby like this, a ghetto baby, we would tell them, like, hey, knock that off. But the reason we're telling them, well, I guess it was two reasons, right? If I'm completely honest, I guess it's two reasons. Like, we didn't like the look of it, and we didn't want to hear it. But the other reason is this. You live with everybody in prison, and we're not going to kick off a riot because your neighbor hears you say something in the vent, like in your cell, when you're talking to your cellmate, and he takes offense to that. So that was why I think we will so strongly push up on that, like, hey, fool, knock that off, because we would explain when we're saying stuff like that, like he could hear you in the van. That's when all the stuff will come out, like, I'm from Watts, like, he got it, no, like, and I'll be like, nah, fool, like, you don't get it, like, it's fine and dandy, but that's not going to be the reason we have a riot in prison. Like, you're not going to be the reason, And they will put their pants low and their beanies up, and we'll be like, nah, that's out too, But, I mean, in modern days, all that changed. And everybody, for the most part, is like that.
Hey, you know what? Right now,
at least in California,
I was reading the comments right now, and man, I definitely I have to read this comment off because this one's it's a good one. It's a good one. But just let me pull it up on my phone right now, and I'll read it off to you because this is definitely I wasn't expecting to see this here, but let me see here. Just bear with me a moment here.
That's okay.
Okay, so it's
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
This message is from Biddy K coming in from the UK, and she says, you know how we were talking, or you brought up, Michael Jackson. So she adds, although I see what Big J is saying, however, MJ paid people off. That's the only reason he ain't on the list, in my humble opinion. As for Chicano rap, he needs to listen to Misfit Soto. Have you ever listened to Misfit Soto?
I never even heard of. I don't know if this is a man or a woman, Misfit Soto. So, but I never heard of them. But I would love to. I'm not hating on nobody. I'm just like that the way they represented it wasn't accurately on the streets. Like if you wanted to represent Mexican gangsterism on the streets in the 90s, I would just go to Menace to Society. Even though they're black, that was us. Like, that's them too, but that was us, And so growing up over here where I was living it, they do a big not that it matters, because I don't think it should be all like that anyways. But if you're gonna showcase something and say this is how we get down over here, that's why I don't listen to it, because I'm like, no, that's not how we get down over here. I don't know where you're living at, but none of the homies I ever met were crazy looking like that, I mean, not crazy looking, but like talking, like, putting extras on it.
And right now, now that she did bring up Memphis Soto, I do, I
Yeah.
have listened to him. I want to say, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think he sounds like Chicano rap, and I wouldn't consider him Chicano rap. But everybody has their own opinion. And I just double checked if he's on the Stingray app, and unfortunately, he's not. So I know you guys have access to the Stingray app, but yeah, he's not on there.
Okay, so what's his name? Mr. Soto?
No, misfit, like a misfit, like you're a misfit.
Oh, misfit.
Yeah.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Well, I like that misfit already.
Man, and then, so right now, Biddy K just put another message, and man, she's I'm tripping out on there's this other Latino artist that goes by the name of Snow the Product, and I mean I'm kind of shocked. I'm kind of surprised. Oh, you do?
Hey, yeah, because I got her in my tablet. My sisters and them took pictures with her, and I got her right here in my pictures. And they're like, "Hey, this is the real deal, fool. Like, this is what's up. This is what we listen to." And I'm like, "Okay, it's not the product." And I heard like she got like 4 songs on the tablet on the Stingray, and I like Snow the Product. I like her. I like her. I'm gonna say it like that. I like her. No different than Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion. I like Snow the Product. There is nothing, no part of my my musical bone that does not like that woman.
All right, so the call was disconnected. He should call us back shortly, and then we'll go ahead and continue on the conversation. I definitely didn't see the conversation going down the way it did, but hey, that's the whole thing. With talking, and you come upon topics that you normally wouldn't speak about. Okay. All right. So we'll just go ahead and wait for him to call back, and then we'll go ahead and continue. Just a heads up, this is probably going to be our last call because I got to start getting ready. I got to get my daughter up and take her to school. So this will be our last 15-minute call.
This call is now being recorded.
Este es Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Joe Perez.
un preso recluido de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
Hello? Yeah.
So just
okay, I like this. Biddy K. Okay.
Just to give you a heads up, this is going to be our last call for now. Just so we'll let these last 15 minutes run out, and then we'll go ahead and set something up. And but it's not going to be this week, just because for the next 4 days I'm gonna be working, so it'll probably be maybe like Tuesday. Okay. But yeah, definitely the conversation it's definitely took us down some routes that I definitely wasn't expecting today. But you sometimes these conversations need to be had, right?
Yeah. I there's something I believe in too. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I respect all that. And I'm on the sides of some, and I'm my own little zone in some, and it's all good. Everybody's people. I love all you guys out there, and that's all I gotta say about that one. But love Snow the Product. I hope she bubbles up. Definitely love her music.
And I just looked her up on the Stingray app, and yeah, she does. She has a few songs on here, like you said. So if anybody's listening to us behind bars, check her out. Right? I haven't listened to her music, but maybe I will now that you mention her. Yeah,
she's a real rapper. I'm gonna say that she rap lives in her, and I could see it and I could hear it.
Yeah. All right. So if you want to go ahead and at least for these last few minutes, I know you were going down your journey. Do you want to continue that, or do you?
I forgot where I was gonna get at or what I was gonna do, right? But oh, you were talking about the cops working over here and bias and all this and that. 15 minutes. Can I run it? Okay. Okay, so when I cross over and I'm over here, there's this term, and it's came up from recent years. Like we never said stuff like this. Like we never said stuff like this in my history, you know. But now I'm hearing on the podcast all the time, like active and this word, right? So before I transferred to Centinela State Prison, you know, even the prison term, they're like, oh, actives just rolled up on the yard. So I would like to say that, like, in my experience, most of them will stay, you know, and sometimes you'll have incidents. But a lot of the times, people roll up and they don't leave. They just stay. And then they're just chilling with everybody, you know? And then sometimes they'll roll up and they will leave or do their best efforts to leave, you know? And then I have to transfer to, it comes to a point where I'm transferring to Centinela. So when I leave, keep in mind, I've been on the other side my whole term. 23 years was done over there. So now I'm fresh on this side. And when I was in Tehachapi, when I transferred to Salinas, like I took a razor blade in my mouth. I remember taking blades, because you never get opportunities like this, is what I'm trying to say. You never mingle. Now in today's age, people mingle all the time. So this is one example. I transferred to Centinela, and I got to get on the bus, and you know, and there's people that were there when I left. People are transferring with me that are still on the other side. So I'm not looking at like a big concern in my head. There's not like a worried or a concern like that. But I am aware, and I get on the bus, and everyone gets on the bus.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
And then we're driving, and we end up at Old Delano, North Kern Valley State Prison. North Kern. It's called North Kern State Prison. It's Old Delano. And when we get off, there's like buses, and this is the biggest intake I've ever seen. It's like 12 sections, 12 different tanks, and they're getting all flooded. They got like 12 buses outside. This is packed, more packed than I ever seen. So when we're getting off, you know, we get off and go through the x-ray and all that, and they're taking property off the buses because we're going to different prisons. Everyone's like a master mingle center right here, right? So I spend the night, and I can say this later when we have more time, but long story short, I come out in the morning. And when I come out in the morning, you don't know who you're going with. You don't know nothing. So you just walk in. I walked into a tank full of inmates that I don't know. So right there, you know, there is a concern, because I'm like, I can't fight back. I've already made up my mind that I am not letting nobody steal this date from me. Like when I go to board, it will not be for a fight that you deny me, you know? I've already been denied once, and I'm solid in my stance, right? So I go in this tank knowing I can't fight back nobody, and I'm in there chilling. And I don't know who's what. I'm not even trying to talk to nobody. I'm trying to be as quiet as I can, like little mouse in the corner. Like, don't talk to me, anybody, because I don't want to talk to nobody. And I don't know, when the tank opens up again and the cops are getting us out, I don't really know who I'm in here with. And I'm just glad direct questions ain't being asked. And when I come out, I realize, like, oh no, all of them crossed over too. So we're all on the same page. But when I come out and we're going in the buses now, they're calling us out, tank 2, come over here, or whatever the tank was. And then they're calling the one next door to us. And the one next door to us is active. Like, we kind of could tell because the conversations and everything. And they come out too. And it's like 2 of us and 2 of them. And this is in old Delano. And you know, I had concerns because I was like, okay, if they swing, just try not to get hit, but don't fight back. None of these cops know you. You can't even look like you're fighting, you know? You can't resemble a fight at all right here. You better put your hands behind your head, behind your hands. Put your hands behind your back or something. That way they know you're not fighting back and you're not swinging. This is what's going in my head. And they come out, and poor things too to them because like I could see it. I could see it all over them. They're panicked out too because they're out with us. And they're not, I'm not saying they're scared of us. I'm not saying that. I most definitely don't think no part of them was scared of us. Their fear on their face was more like, dang, I'm with these guys. So do I get off on them? Because what will the homies think if I don't? Like that's probably what they were thinking, you know? I'm sure they were not scared physically of me or the guy next to me. But I do fully hearted think that they were, it's an uncomfortable situation that you just put these guys in, you know? And they didn't do nothing to us. But what I'm saying is they could have if they wanted to, but they didn't seize that opportunity. And then we're all cuffed up and we get in the bus and we leave, you know? And then I come to Centinela State Prison. And remember how I used to transfer when I was younger? I will put the razor blade in my mouth and it would just sit on the top gum. I'm thinking of them like that. Because now I'm on this side, so I'm thinking of everyone doing everything I would have done, you know? And right before I get off at Centinela, like, I'm the last one off the bus with that crossed over, and everyone behind me is still active, and the gate's open. But we're all cuffed up, but the gate's open. But homies are homies. Like, you'll come out the cuffs, you know? Like, there's ways. And so right there, I was like, okay, well, if I see any movement, I'm just going to slam my foot on this door because I'm still cuffed, one, and not only that, but I know.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
There is no way I'm going to fight anybody at this point in time in my life, right? I got that down packed in my head. I'm training over and over. And so, yeah, those concerns did happen, and then I landed in Centinela State Prison, you know? And I don't know how many minutes we got, James, but if you would like to chime in.
We got
or anything came
6.
to mind.
We got 6 minutes. I got a counter right here. What I started doing was, whenever a call connects, as soon as it connects, I put a 15-minute timer, so like that, I can keep track of, how many minutes we got in, and also the audience, could keep track of, know, so if they need to take a break.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I like that feature. Yeah. Yeah, but those are definitely, it was my first time transferring since I crossed over, so those were thoughts in my head,
And looking at it back now, right now that you mentioned, crossing over,
yeah.
How do you feel about the decision? What up there on life choices?
I'm great with it, bro.
Yeah,
I'm great with it. It opened me up to really see life from a human perspective, right? Because, like I said, when I was playing the game, even though I was like, I'm done with this, I'll never come back to prison. That's fine and dandy, right? Like, my heart was in it, but now I have so much more foundation under a statement like that, right? Now I know nothing can go wrong, because I worked on myself that much. And it allowed me to separate where I get to look back and see, like, dang, fool, you were retarded right here, I was gonna say off the hook, but off the hook ain't the term. It was just you were very naive to be right here all this time, And I didn't know there was no way out. I never knew, like you could just walk away, That what's it, LOL? Or no, not LOL. You only live once.
Oh,
YOLO.
YOLO, yeah.
Yeah, YOLO. Yeah, you only live once, right? And now I'm exercising that. You only live once, baby. Like, it's a big, beautiful world out here. But I was stuck in a little square, in a little box, and I was determined to die in that little box, And now that's how it feels. You only live once, baby, and that little box is so small now. Like, it's good. I don't regret nothing.
Hey Joe, and I don't think I've ever asked you this question. What's the highest points you achieved while you were in the main lane?
They weren't too high, James. I say I don't know what they were, but just give me 150.
150
or 160 or something like that. Yeah, I never broke 200 mark, and I never broke like a 185 mark. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like 150, 160, something right there.
Man. So
Yeah.
we're currently down to 2 minutes. And then I want to go ahead and give all shout out to all our listeners. Because
Yeah.
ultimately we're here because they're listening. I mean, we got about 13
Yeah.
listeners right now, and really appreciate it. I remember when we started back a few months ago. I don't know if it was like 4 or 5 months ago, man. We weren't getting anybody. So to some, 13 might not be a lot of listeners, but
Oh
to me,
man.
it means the world.
Man, God bless their soul, James. God bless their soul, bro. Because it hurt me when you said that right now. It's like, my boy James was going through it. He was like, yeah. You're right. You guys are plenty to me. You guys feel like a million to me. When I look down, I don't see 13. I see 13 million right now. I see all UK right now. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and we're about to be
Yeah.
we're a few subscribers from hitting finally getting to that 1,000. So hopefully sooner than
Okay.
later. It's been kind of slow because we haven't I haven't been going live for like the last I would say maybe like 7-8 days. It's so that definitely affects
Okay.
the growth of the stream. But
Yeah, we'll Speedy K it up soon. Yeah, we'll Speedy K it up soon.
That's right. Hey,
Yeah.
speaking of Speedy K, you remember him, right? From Power Tools.
Yeah. That's why I said that.
All right.
Yeah.
So right now, when the call hangs up, if you could go ahead and call me back, I want to go ahead and talk to you off the air. But
Okay.
we're getting down to the last minute, so if you want to give your shout outs.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
My last club I went to, my last partying club was the Metro in Riverside, and Speedy K was DJing. Shout out to him for giving me my last memory of a club.
Man, I remember the last time I seen Speedy K was at, I think what was it? It was a club in downtown LA. Carnival, I think it was Carnival right there on. I think it was on 7th and Spring.
Yeah.
Looked totally different than
Yeah.
than what I imagined. Little dude, looked like a little mouse,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah,
But,
little pep squeak. Yeah, but he got it cracking. Yeah.
all right, and then with that
And
being said,
yeah.
said,
Go ahead. Jay.
life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out.
Out.
All right, the call was disconnected. So I appreciate you guys listening in. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the stream. I got some other things to do, but I might be back later on today. I just gotta double check my messages, and if I am, then you guys will be checking me out later, if you will. So you guys go ahead and have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your days, and thank you for your support. And with that, I'm out.